Hi, Kathryn here from circleartdesigns. Today we will be working on the Dragonfly charm and agate necklace. This is a project from the Bargain Bead Box for February, and it will be our fourth project in this series. So let's gather up our supplies and get started. Now, from the Bargain Bead Box, we will be using our 8mm frosted crackle agate round beads. These are dyed and heated, and I just love the way they look. Also from the Bargain Bead Box, we will be using our Dragonfly charms. These are 17 by 17.5 millimeter. You might be thinking, but Kathryn, there's no holes in these. Wait till you see what we do with them. I have also pulled that 4 by 3 millimeter stainless steel curb chain from the Bargain Bead Box, but I don't actually use this. I could not find anything I had that would cut this easily. If you do, go for it. I ended up using something from my stash. So from Hobby Lobby's Metal Gallery, I went and used their silver rope chain, and I really liked the finished product. So I laid out the necklace the way I want it to go, and I've done a small section of it, and that's what I'm showing you here. I'm going to put the charms and then chain, 3 beads, and then chain. Now for this particular chain, I counted off 16 loops, but when I counted off loops with the other, it only took 7 loops. It all depends on which chain you're using and how long you want your necklace to be. For this project, I will be using the artistic wire in a 20 gauge. I will also be using loopers for these, and straight nose pliers. I'll also need the curved nose and the chain nose eventually. Let's cut a long piece of wire to start this with. If you've never used a looper before, you're going to place your wire into the looper, and there's a little hole on one side that you're going to put that wire into, and it will lay across these 2 little points that hang up. Mash it together and you have a loop. We'll need a loop on both ends, but we'll just start with a loop on one. Once you get that loop made, take your straight nose pliers and go ahead and close that loop. Make sure it's nice and straight because you don't want your piece coming apart. Just so you know, I will have a list of everything I'm using in the description. I'm going to use the 3mm silver ball spacers on these, and we'll start with the silver ball spacer and then our bead and another silver ball spacer. It looks like I just discovered my fingers are not in camera. Sorry about that. All right, let's go. Okay, so again, a 3mm silver spacer, your agate, and another silver spacer, and then we're going to make another loop. I really like using the long wire with these loopers because I don't think you waste as much. Maybe that's just my idea, but it seems to me you don't waste as much. So I stopped the video for a moment so I could put this in and show you what I'm talking about. Notice your beads are snugged right up against the bottom side of the looper. Then your wire goes across the looper on the right side, for me, I'm left-handed, of the looper, and then it goes through the little hole at the top. And that's the way you want it so that you can mash the handle together and make your loop. Mashing the handle together, we should get a perfect little loop. Make sure you close it. So we're going to start again. We need to make a loop in our wire and close it so we can make the next bead component. We'll need 3 in total for each section. I think I'll speed this section up just a bit. Okay, y'all, when I speed this thing up, I think I've done pretty good with my shaking until I speed it up, and then you can really tell my hands shake. I think that's pretty funny. Sorry about that. That hit my funny bone in just the right place. Okay, now we're ready to do our loop again. And this will be our second beading component, our bead component finished. Okay, as you can see, I'm doing just what I showed in the diagram. We're going to snug up that bead. This silver bead kind of jumped over. I'm going to have to back it up a little bit. But just follow the directions in the picture that I posted. And there we have it, bead number 2. And on to bead number 3. And this will be just like the others. We're going to make our loop, make sure it's closed, put on a silver spacer bead, our agate bead, a silver spacer bead, and then make another loop and make sure it's closed. Well, it's that time again. Would you please like and leave a comment for this video? And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. It will really help me grow this channel. I appreciate it, y'all. Now that we have our 3 bead components, it's time to make our first section. I'm going to be using 3 or 4 millimeter oval jump rings to join these because my chain is in an oval as well. So when opening and closing your jump rings, you're going to need 2 sets of pliers. I use my chain nose and my curved. You hold your jump ring between the pliers, and with one of your wrists, I use my left, you will open the ring away from you. Never pull it apart. Then you're going to put your pieces on it and then turn the ring back around towards you to close it. Sorry, my hands have fallen off the screen again. As I get tired, I have a tendency to let my hands drop. Okay, let's try this again. So, I'm using the 3 or 4 millimeter oval jump rings. When I tried my chain nose, they were just too big, so I went to my round nose pliers to open these up. I put 2 beads on it and close it. Then I go to the other end, I put another one on, and then I put the last bead on it. And this will complete your beaded portion of the necklace, or at least one section. You know, I haven't said it yet, but you don't have to have exactly what I'm using. Maybe you don't like dragonflies or you didn't get the box, but it doesn't matter because the techniques are solid. Look around in your stash. See what beads you have, what circles you have, what charms you have, and let's do this together. So you will need for this necklace 4 sections of the 3 bead components. And I'm going to let you finish the other 4 or the other 3, and then I'll get right back to you. So after I finished my sections for the beads, I went ahead and relaid it on my bead board. I put my charms about where I wanted them and my 4 sections of beads where I wanted them. And you will see in the center that I have got the chain on either side. I'm measuring how much chain I want between each thing. Again, your chain length might differ depending on which chain you use. If you can use the one in the box, that steel one, mine only took 7 of the links. But in the one I used from Hobby Lobby, it took me 16. I'm going for 1.5 inches. You might want longer, you might want shorter. Put it on a bead board and see what you like. You will need wire cutters for this next step. no matter how tempting it might be. Once you decide what length you want and how many links in that chain it's going to take to make the length you want, count it out every time. I know it's a hassle, but you will thank me in the end. Now, once you have gotten all your chain cut, go ahead and lay your chain out on your bead board so that you have a visual picture of where your chain and your different components are going to go. So I'm laying out some pictures here so you can see the 2 different sizes of jump rings I used. For the bead components and matching up the chain with them, I used the 3/4 millimeter oval jump rings. To join the charm to the chain and then the chain to the beading component, I used the larger jump ring, just the next size up. For the charm, you really have to judge this by how wide your charm is. And then for the chain from the jump ring, from the beading component to the chain, I used again the 3/4 millimeter. And from chain to charm to chain, I used the large jump ring on the front of the Dragonfly, and then I used the same size jump ring on the opposite side of that charm because it's wider. But then I discovered that the chain looked smaller even though it wasn't. So I added the 3/4 millimeter to the jump ring and the chain to join the wider side of the charm. Oh yay, I finally got a jump ring within the picture frame. Okay, so you can see from this that I'm holding it between the 2 pliers, and I twist my wrist to open, put it on, and then twist my wrist to close. I am so thankful that this one showed up. One thing I wanted to call to your attention is when I am working on the charms and I'm putting the larger jump rings on both ends of those charms, I always open the jump ring and I put the back side of the jump ring and the back side of the charm together. Or a better way to think of it is like with material, you're going to put right sides together so that when you open that up, your opening for your jump ring and the back side of the charm are on the same side. When I'm making a piece like this with different jump rings and components, I lay it all out, including the jump rings beside where I'm going to use them, so I can look it over and make sure that I have small with small and medium with medium, and I would highly suggest that. Once you have all your components put together, lay it back in your beading tray and check your length. Now comes the decision of how long you want to make this and what type of closure you want. I decided to make mine an eternity chain. That means it has no closure because I'm going to put it over my head. And what I did was I took the larger of the jump rings, I measured out the length of chain I still needed to make it as long as I wanted it, and then I joined it with the final component and on each end with those large jump rings. And my piece is finished. I just love this eternity, or I guess another word for it is infinity necklace. I love being able to just put it over my head and it can just move around however it wants to. It makes me so happy. Thank you so much much for joining me today on this beading adventure. I love making this style of necklace. I don't do it very often, but I just really love it when it all comes together. I hope you look in your own stash of things and pick out some beautiful pieces you have and make this charming little necklace. And this is what it looks like when it's hanging on the neck. I love this piece. I'll add pictures. Have a wonderful beading day, y'all. Kathryn, Circle Art Designs.